How often do we consider the relevance of ancient biblical stories in our modern world? In an era of rapid technological advancement and evolving societal norms, it's easy to overlook the profound wisdom embedded in historical texts. Yet, these narratives from centuries past still hold substantial weight, shaping our cultural, societal, and philosophical perspectives in countless ways. Take the book of Genesis, for instance, the first book of the Bible. It's not just a collection of ancient stories, it's a treasure trove of lessons and insights that have withstood the test of time. From the creation of the world to the trials of early humanity, these narratives explore themes of obedience, jealousy, redemption, ambition, and covenant, which still resonate today. So, let's embark on a journey of exploration and interpretation, setting these ancient stories within a contemporary context. As we delve into the book of Genesis, we might just uncover answers to some of the most pressing questions of our time. Imagine our world as the Garden of Eden, a place of harmony and balance. In this modern Eden, the forbidden fruit is no longer a singular entity hanging from a tree, but rather the myriad temptations that surround us daily. The allure of convenience over sustainability, the seduction of consumption without thought for consequence, the temptation to choose the immediate gratification rather than the long-term good. Our Adam and Eve are not just two individuals, but represent us all. We are the stewards of this earth, tasked with cherishing and preserving its bounty. Yet we often find ourselves succumbing to the allure of the forbidden fruit, the lure of instant gratification. We choose to ignore the long-term implications of our actions, deceived by the sweet taste of the present. The consequences of our disobedience are evident in the world around us. Our modern Eden is wilting under the weight of our choices. The air, once pure and invigorating, now carries the sting of pollution. The water, once a source of life, is now tainted with our disregard. The soil, once fertile and nurturing, is now depleted and barren. Just as Adam and Eve were expelled from the garden for their disobedience, so too are we experiencing the backlash of our actions. Climate change, species extinction, environmental degradation, these are the repercussions of our trespasses. And just as the first humans were not alone in their punishment, neither are we. Our actions echo across the globe, impacting not just ourselves, but all life on this planet. However, let us not forget that the story of Adam and Eve is also a story of redemption and resilience. It is a reminder that while we may falter, we also possess the capacity for change. We have the power to learn from our mistakes, to make amends, and to restore the balance that has been disrupted. Just as Adam and Eve face consequences for their actions, so too must we recognize the impact of ours. We are the stewards of this modern Garden of Eden. It is our responsibility to tend to it with care, restoring it to its former glory and ensuring its survival for generations to come. Let's turn to the troubling tale of Cain and Abel, the first documented case of sibling rivalry gone awry. This ancient story from the book of Genesis is as relevant today as it was thousands of years ago. It's a tale that resonates deeply with the human experience, exploring the complex dynamics of sibling rivalry and the destructive power of jealousy and resentment. In the biblical narrative, Cain and Abel, the sons of Adam and Eve, each bring an offering to God. Abel, a shepherd, offers a lamb, the best of his flock. Cain, a farmer, brings produce from his fields. God accepts Abel's offering but rejects Cain's, sparking a flame of jealousy that ultimately leads to the first recorded act of fratricide. We see echoes of this story in our modern world where competition and comparison are ingrained into our societal fabric. From childhood, we're often pitted against our peers, measured and ranked based on our achievements. This constant comparison can breed resentment and jealousy, just as it did between Cain and Abel. But the story of Cain and Abel isn't just a cautionary tale about the dangers of jealousy. It's also a call to empathy, understanding, and conflict resolution. When God sees Cain's anger, he reaches out, warning him about the destructive path he's on and urging him to choose a different way. Unfortunately, Cain doesn't heed this advice, and the results are tragic. In our own lives, we can take a lesson from this. When we see jealousy and resentment taking root in our hearts, it's important to step back, to reflect, and to choose empathy over envy. It's vital to understand that each of us has our own path, our own strengths, and our own contributions to make, and that someone else's success doesn't diminish our own. In a world where competition often overshadows compassion, the story of Cain and Abel serves as a timeless reminder of the destructive power of jealousy. But it also teaches us that we have a choice to let resentment consume us, or to foster understanding, empathy, and compassion for one another. From the story of Noah's Ark, we learn about divine intervention, survival, and the rebirth of humanity. In this narrative, mankind's wickedness prompts a divine decision to cleanse the earth through a massive flood, sparing only the righteous Noah, his family, and a diverse selection of the world's creatures. Fast forward to our current era, and it's not difficult to draw parallels between the Great Flood and the global climate crisis we face today. Instead of an angry deity, we grapple with rising temperatures, melting ice caps, and extreme weather events. The floodwaters might not be pouring down from the heavens, but they are certainly rising in our seas, threatening to inundate our coastal cities and displace millions of people. In Noah's time, divine intervention provided the solution: an ark, a vessel of salvation built to weather the storm and preserve life. Today, our ark must be collective action, a shared commitment to mitigating the impacts of climate change. This involves reducing greenhouse gas emissions, transitioning to renewable energy, and fostering sustainable practices in all aspects of life. The story of Noah also teaches us about the rebirth of humanity. After the floodwaters receded, Noah, his family, and the creatures aboard the ark emerged to repopulate the earth and start anew. In our context, this rebirth can be seen in the innovative solutions and green technologies we develop to adapt to our changing climate. It's found in the resilience of communities that band together in the aftermath of a hurricane, a wildfire, or a drought. So, as we navigate the turbulent waters of our climate crisis, let's remember the story of Noah's Ark. It's a tale of devastation, yes, but also one of survival, resilience, and rebirth. It's a reminder of our capacity to endure, adapt, and overcome. As Noah was chosen to preserve life, so too do we have a responsibility to protect our planet. In the tale of the Tower of Babel, we find a story of ambition, unity, and divine intervention. This ancient narrative from the book of Genesis mirrors the complexities of our modern world in striking ways. In the story, humanity, speaking one language, unites with an ambitious goal: to build a tower reaching the heavens. This aim represents the pinnacle of their collective capabilities, a testament to their unity and shared purpose. Yet, their ambition alarms the divine, leading to the confusion of languages and the scattering of the people across the earth. Fast forward to today, we see a world that, in many ways, is striving to build its own towers. With globalization, we are more connected than ever, working together on projects that span across continents and cultures. Our towers are now the global economy, scientific advancements, and communication technology, all reaching towards the heavens in their own way, all symbols of human ambition and unity. But just like in the Babel story, this unity brings its own set of challenges. We may not speak the same literal language, but the languages of culture, of societal norms, and of understanding are just as potent and just as capable of causing confusion and division. Misunderstandings, cultural insensitivity, and the loss of individual identities in the face of global homogenization are the contemporary confusions of our languages. Yet, it is important to remember that the scattering of the people in the Babel story is not entirely a punishment. It is also an opportunity for diversity, for the creation of unique cultures and identities. Similarly, in our globalized world, we should not see our cultural differences as barriers, but as opportunities for growth and understanding. As we strive to build our modern towers, let us also strive to understand and respect the diverse cultures that make up our global community. Just as the people of Babel were scattered, we are globally dispersed, yet interconnected, striving to understand and respect our diverse cultures. In the stories of Abraham and his descendants, we find the genesis of leadership, faith, and nationhood. The patriarchs Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob each embody unique characteristics that can be seen in the leaders of today. Abraham, the father of faith, exemplifies the courage to step into the unknown, a trait we often see in modern pioneers and innovators. Isaac, the peacemaker, mirrors the diplomatic leaders of our time, those who strive to build bridges and foster unity. Jacob's transformation into Israel symbolizes resilience and the ability to change, seen in leaders who adapt and evolve in the face of adversity. Yet, these patriarchs were not just leaders in a conventional sense. They were ethical leaders who prioritized moral courage and faith. They remind us that leadership is not only about holding power, but wielding it with wisdom, integrity, and a commitment to the greater good. The narratives of the patriarchs remind us that leadership requires not just power, but also wisdom, integrity, and a commitment to the greater good.